This tier list is going to tilt some people, but it's voted by you guys, and a lot of the placements shocked me. 75,000 players vote for the best knife. Believe it or not, there are 97 knives in the game, and with the recent beautiful Sentinels 2.0 dagger, I think it's time to recast the votes. Now, here's the thing. I don't exactly agree with how this list turned out, as I submitted it to my Discord server with over 70,000 members. They can choose their top 5 knives, and then these were the results. Starting with the very bottom category, all these will be considered not F tier, but trash tier. A tier below F because they got 0 votes. So in trash tier, we have the Task Force 809 knife. I do agree with this one. We have the Striker knife. Oh no, man. I agree with this one. We have the No Limits bat. Forgot this existed. Can't believe Valorant thought this was a good paid skin to make. We have the Iridian Thorn Blade. Not very surprised either. This one I am. Ion Energy Sword. Listen, it's not the greatest, but I wouldn't put it down here. I am shocked it got 0 votes. And I'm gonna go ahead and say a phrase. A skin is either loved or forgotten. Either a skin will hold true and people will continue to use it, or it becomes forgotten and people just don't care about it at all. And truth be told, the last time I saw this Ion Melee is quite literally forever ago, and the votes reflect putting it at trash tier. Next we have the Intergrade Blade. I'm behind this one. Hive Mind Sword, Genesis Arc, Daydream's Crowbar, Carius, Blade of Circuit, and Altitude Knuckle Knife. So this all makes up the trash tier, and I agree with most of them. I also think the Altitude Knuckle Knife could probably be F tier, but it is what it is based off of voting. That's where we're at. All right, we're done with the trash category and making our way to the S tier. Now, you know what else is S tier? Today's sponsor, Valorant Tracker, an application that bombards you with useful information right from the agent select into the game itself and much more. Like hitting tab allows you to see all the ranks you're playing with and against, which is extremely useful to understand where you're climbing and what your hidden MMR looks like. Of course, by hitting tab, you even get a nice little UI at the bottom of the scoreboard that lets me to keep track of my damage, but more importantly, my headshot percentage. Or while hovering an agent, I can see my stats compared to the global average. And that's all just a hint, a small little salt shake on how much this application has to offer. I can keep track of everything I've done and will continue to do in nice little graphs. What is my Vandal looking like compared to my Phantom? What is my Sheriff looking like compared to my Ghost? And much, much more. You can even organize what you want to see, and a beautiful graph will be formed just for you. Best of all, this is all free. So download Valorant Tracker using the link below. In the next category, it is the official F tier. This one's quite a big category. I'm going to try not to make this video 30 minutes long. The Venturi Knife. Yikes. Sandswept Dagger. Double yikes. Outpost Melee. Ew. Obsidiana. No one liked it. Lux Knife. Beta skin that should have stayed in the beta. Composite Knife. Go straight into the composite. Velocity Karambit. One of the better Battle Pass skins, but votes have spoken. Transition Knife. Okay. Titan Mail Mage. Pretty bad. Tilde Knife. Also pretty bad. Reverie Sword. Literally just a glass-stained sword without any cohesiveness. So yeah, it is what it is. Relic of the Sentinel. This is the original Sentinels 1.0 melee. Wasn't very loved. Definitely crazy to see a melee for an 8700 bundle down here. But yeah, I think actually some people will agree with this positioning. Prosperity. Okay. Prism Knife, this one should have been trashed here. Neptune Anchor, the Blub Blub Vandal is very much loved, but they made such a terrible melee. I swear Valorant does have some laziness in it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just gonna be outright. It kind of does. Huilis, I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry. It's not a very good skin. We have Hack. This is actually one of the worst skins in the game. This deserves a place underneath trash. That's how much I hate it, but anyways, it got some votes. Gravitational Uranium Neurobaton. It's not in a terrible spot. I think it's in an okay spot. Crimson Beast Hammer. It's okay if it wasn't for all like the great value Walmart stickers placed on top. It could have actually been maybe even a D tier, but it's an F tier. I agree with this one. Chrome Deck Gauntlet. This one is funny because it's not even out yet, but it's in the client and I made a video on it. So this one, I don't know, could be a little bit skewed. It's not that great though, so meh. If it's not an F tier, it would have been a D tier. Katarina. I also think this should have been a D tier, but here it is in the F tier. Then we have Bound. Pretty decent. We have the Blastex Polymer Knife Tech Coated Knife. I love people actually tried to defend this when it came out, and I haven't seen this in forever. That's the thing. These skins that I am pronouncing, that I am showing you on screen, when is even the last time you saw them in game? A skin is either loved or forgotten. Blades of Imperium. All right. Song Steel, I think decent battle pass skin, but you know. Singularity Knife, a missed opportunity if there ever was one. Origin Crescent Blade, I think this one was done dirty. This should be C or B tier, but whatever. No one voted for it. Literally, there was more votes for the K-Tac Blade, which is still also an F tier, but okay, here we are. Now here's the thing, I didn't lie, F tier is huge. Winter Wonderland Candy Cane is here, and I think the only reason you should use it is like once a year during the holidays in case you'd like to, because Riot gave up on holiday skins and doing anything fun with Valorant. It's just like dying game now. Splendid should be a battle pass skin. Soul Strife Scythe, another Halloween skin that came out after Halloween. Snowfall Wand, the last attempt at a holiday skin before they gave up. Listen, I'm not trying to be negative, I still love Valorant, don't get me wrong, but it is a little bit sad that they've completely given up. No holiday game modes, no holiday skin. It's kind of like a sad state, you know what I mean? Again, most of you have forgotten these skins exist. All right, F tier continues. Personal Administrative Melee Unit. A lot of you will disagree with this, but only got 0.2% of the votes. Oni Claw also made it into the F tier alongside Nebula Knife with the same amount of votes. Loved or forgotten, I'm telling you. Forsaken Ritual Blade at F tier. Some of you are gonna get pissed at that one, but here it is. Ego Knife, Prism 3. These two are the last of the F tiers before we head up into the D tier. There are literally 97 knife skins in Valorant, so yes, we're 6 minutes in and only just finished F tier, but all right, as we head into the D tier, we have the Terminus A Quo. I actually kind of like this melee, but I don't see it often. I still think it's a cute, nice little fun melee, but it is what it is. We have the Orion Sword. No idea how this is on the exact same page as the other, but that's what happens when I only give people 5 things to vote for. The best are pushed to the top, while the rest are kind of forgotten. Mage Punk Shotgun, you know, it's in an okay spot here. .sys Melee, Kingdom Knife, Artisan Foil, Mage Punk Electro Blade, all hit the D tier. Now, Mage Punk Electro Blade, I think, personally, I'll put it on C tier. Luna's Descent, not a bad knife, pretty decent spot in D tier. Glitch Pop Axe, same idea, but that concludes the D tier. It's one of the smallest sections we have in the video because it's the middle section of the vote before we sneak into the C tier. Now, for the C tier, barely getting in with 0.5% of the votes is Waveform, and I think it's in a decent spot. If you like it, you like it. Otherwise, it's kind of meh. Gaia's Fury also hits the C tier. I think it deserves more, but it is what it is. And I think what I'm noticing is the C tier probably has the most upsetting ones for a lot of people. Equilibrium comes next, which I think this also deserves its spot here. Blade of Chaos, same idea. It was a far too big weapon. I barely see anyone use it. Primax, fallen from grace like a freaking rock, is now all the way down here. Cryostatus Impact Drill follows suit. Valorant Go, Volume 1 Knife. Radiant Crisis 001 Baseball Bat. Elder Flame Dagger. Broken Blade of the Ruined King. Black Market Butterfly Knife. By the way, I do like how there's a rare chance of something to happen. I wish more knives had that, but besides the point. Recon Balasong. When it was the only butterfly knife, it reigned supreme, but now it's fallen off as they've copy-pasted the exact same animation a million times. As you can see, I'm a little bit bitter now that I look back at it because there are so many skins and you can feel the filler. You can feel the filler in this list, and that can be a little bit frustrating. With that being said, the final weapon in C tier is Gaia's Wrath. All right, so as we enter the B tier, I think this is where the list starts to stabilize and most people will start to agree, but let's see. So barely making into the B tier is the Celestial Fan. I think this is holding up pretty well. I'm happy with its spot here. Then the Champions 2023 Kunai. Personally, I would put it higher, but I actually believe most people would agree that B tier is good. It's a clean knife, but didn't have enough animations to elevate it further. Araxis, I really liked melee, but it doesn't have anything too crazy going on. Perfect B tier. Glitch Pop Dagger, it's an OG for a lot of people, but it's kind of gotten boring at this point, so B tier. Yoru Stylish Butterfly Comb, very, very niche, but for the people it does fit, it fits well. That evens it out to a B tier. Reaver Knife, classic, but also kind of boring now. B tier. The newest Relic Stone Daggers. Right now, you guys have voted it as a B tier. I could see this rising over to an A tier eventually, but for now, as people buy it and kind of figure out what they think about it, it is currently at a B tier. Not too shabby at all. The B tier, this is like upper B tier, but Neo Frontier Axe slips through at the top end, as well as Ruin Dagger, which is a battle pass knife. I would put this as A tier, but kind of like upper B tier. Then we have the Sovereign Sword, which I am shocked is this high. I'm surprised we have the Sovereign Sword, but not like the Primax. This is quite shocking. And then we have Smite Knife, and the final one. Okay, by the way, this night knife, you guys are just trolls. I know you guys just voted it because you're trolls. But anyways, votes, you know, it's a democracy here. It's a democracy. It comes out at B tier. And the final B tier, almost slipping into A tier, but not quite based off of votes, is the Ryu staff. I think it's in an okay spot here. The upper B tier or low A tier makes sense. Like, it's still a unique melee. If you like the staff, you like wishing it around, it's a solid melee. The very final two knives in B tier were very close to make it into A tier. I need to make that clear. Very, very close. So these are the upper B tier. They're the best of the B tier. Number one is the Power Fist. I don't like it, but with all its variants and how much quality is kind of put into it, animation and stuff, it does make sense. Maybe the price kind of brings it down. So it is upper B tier, but nonetheless B tier. The last one is the Ion Karambit. This also makes sense in B tier because if it had better variants, it would probably be in A tier, but the variants were kind of mid, kind of just the white default one is still the best. So yeah, it doesn't quite make it to A tier, but upper B tier. Now we head into A. These are actually quite a leap in the amount of votes that they got. So these are solid A's. Starting us off, we have the Prime 2.0 Karambit in A tier. This is a solid spot. I think a lot of people would agree. Then we have the Mage Punk Spark Switch. I am shocked. To me, this is an A tier, but I did not think people would agree with me. I am shocked to see it here. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's one of the better like butterfly knives in the game. So you know what? W, we take those. Then we have the Ignite fan, a gorgeous fan that at the time we didn't even think was coming to our region, but we got it, like a purple violet variant and a gorgeous red variant. Amazing fan knife. It deserves its spot. Then we have the Onimaru Konotsuna. I'm sorry for butchering pronunciation. However, this ends up also landing in the A tier. I think it's in a great spot. I like it a ton, but to a lot of people, it's just too big. As we enter the upper, oh my God, we're so close to S, but they don't quite make it in because I only reserved the S tier for the top 5 most voted weapons. All right, so just to keep that clear. The VCT lock-in knife. This one is a solid knife. I think based on how people perceive it, especially with the outline being like a Photoshop outline, I think A tier is great. Great variants, great animation, a little bit missed with the glow. So I think A tier works fantastic. Then we have the Champions 2022 Butterfly Knife. I actually also think this is a great A tier knife. I believe everything in the S tier makes a lot of sense, in my personal opinion, but it is what it is. The final 5 knives with the most votes enter the upper top end of the S tier for knife skins. All right. In order by the most votes, number 5 at the very bottom, RGX 11Z Pro Firefly. This is the number 1 freaking butterfly skin in the game, according to you guys. I don't know if I fully agree, but here it is, top 5 S tier skin. Then we have the Champions 2021 Karambit, also getting S tier skin. 5% of all votes went to this knife. Not gonna lie, I think it is S tier. Surprised most people agreed. Not gonna lie. In third, we have the RGX 11Z Pro Blade. You guys really like this skin. For a long time when I made these polls, it reigned number 1. It has fallen to number 3, but for a long time it reigned number 1. But this time it got 6.38% of all total votes. In number 2, Xeno Hunter Knife. 7.7% of all votes went to the Xeno Hunter Knife. Do I think it's S tier? I think it's A tier personally. I wouldn't put it S tier, but I like my flashy colors. So I think if you like a clean skin, I can respect it. No disrespect for the votes putting this on S tier. It makes sense to me. Number 1. I don't agree with it, but number 1 is the Reaver Karambit, taking 8.64% of all votes, putting it at number 1 and also an S tier knife. I think it has good variants, a good animation, and overall solid design. Do I think it's S tier? No. I think it's kind of boring. I don't like 2.0s that much in the first place. I would put this in a B tier, maybe an A tier, but that's the thing about personal opinion. You guys may say never let him cook again, or some of you might agree with me. Either way, let me know what you think down below. Okay, bye.